Welcome back. You're now watching the political segment on The Weekend Show. In about a couple of weeks, the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration would have marked 1 year being in government. This administration promised renewed hope. However, we have seen different changes, but this government has also positioned itself to be a government that listens. And so we've seen some policies come up which they had to backtrack because the people complained about it. On one hand, this means that there is a level of accountability where the people are being listened to. On the other hand, it makes us question the coordination in the sense that why would the National Assembly pass some things and then people complain about it before it is still debated by the National Assembly? Is it that they aren't reading what they are putting to the president to sign? Is it that no one is vetting certain things? We've also seen in the last 1 week about 12.5 billion naira has been approved for 200 vehicles for customs. We've seen the National Assembly get approvals for vehicles. We've seen 1.5 trillion for another road linking to the coastal road. We've seen also demolitions in Lagos and the Lagos-Calabar coastal road, which is being built. However, food inflation is so high that it's over 33% across all the states. You also have the cost of living being high while people are still complaining about taxation amongst the minimum wage, which they want increased. How accountable is this administration and how can the people hold the government accountable? Should our well-being and immediate needs like food security and general security be a priority, or should the focus continue to remain on infrastructure? Joining us to have this conversation in the studio
we have Bukola Ido, who is Executive Director, Impact Development Initiative. Good morning. Thanks
Good morning.
for joining us.
Thank you. We also have a virtual guest.
Yes, we have Honorable Rahman Olorunputu Cephas, who is also the Chairman House Committee on Public Accounts, and he'll be joining us via Zoom.
So we'll start with you. 1 year in government. What's your assessment of this administration so far?
So, the first thing is interesting to know that we spent 1 year under this present administration. And I think it looks like the days are so fast. And at the same time, it looks like it's so slow, depending on the side of the divide you are. And by that, I mean, depending on how you feel the policy of the government. And you also know that every policy have two sides. Some people enjoy it and some people doesn't really enjoy that. And and to gauge the good policy now is to look at the number of people that are speaking in favor of it, that are benefiting from that. And so it depends, and that tells you that, look, 1 year to some people is like ages now, and to some people is 1 year already. But the most important thing is that you have to look at the policy direction of the present administration. And I think it looks like they have good policies in place, but they have a very not so good implementation plan. And that is what you see. For instance, one agenda, you see the government from the world goal, May 29, 2023, 2023, what one goal is that, look, they want to revamp the economy. They want to make the economy buoyant, robust, and then also that every Nigerian will be proud of. But at the same time, when you begin to implement those policies, you now begin to find gaps, and you begin to find lack of coordination, and you begin to find that, look, it looks like you don't really care what is going to happen to citizens. You just want the policy to be in place. And then you also find out that aside the angle of the citizen, even the entrepreneurs, the small and scale entrepreneurs and the informal sector that are the driver of the economy, and then they begin to bear the brunt of some of them. And I give you an example. One of the things that you see is that from the word go, you just find out that the president declared that the subsidy is gone. And for some of us, we think that is not so well thought plan of implementation of subsidy is gone. And this is not a conversation that starts from today. It started from Jonathan. In fact, it started from the time of Buhari. Not Buhari now, from the time of Obasanjo. And that conversation has been going on. And then why is it that successive governments have not been able to outrightly just remove this thing? Now, because it has effect, and that is why majority of the government are doing this thing gradually. So you find out that, oh, they've increased the number of, the amount Nigerians are paying on fuel. Now, those are the partial remover of subsidy. So, but coming to say, look, you are taking it off immediately, without even getting briefing from from the people concerned. So you look at that hardship we face at that time, and then not too long, and then you just decide to devalue the naira and say, look, let the market forces determine what the naira is going to be and you know. I don't know who are the advisor, but of course, when you look at subsidy to go, good policy. But is that the right time to do it, or is that the right approach, is the conversation. Number two is you want to devalue the naira, you want the market forces to determine what the value of naira should be. Good policy is what should be, but at the same time, is that the right approach? So as of yesterday, you are talking about dollar to be to naira 1,000, like about 1,500, and then pounds was like around 1,900 thereabouts. And so you now begin to ask yourself, how do we make importation, most especially on things that pertains to production, some of the raw materials you will need? And it is not even about some of the luxury goods Nigeria enjoy, but it is about how do you subsidize this for production. In some countries, one thing they subsidize is production, not consumption, so that you can bring down the cost of producing, you can bring it down. So when you are able to bring it down, and then at the end of the day, one of the things you have been able to achieve is that citizens will be able to purchase at a very lower rate. But if you are not subsidizing production, you are going to find higher cost of production, and at the end of the day, citizens are not going to be able to even purchase what you have. So you have a lot of things they are dealing with. I mean, the administration is dealing with. For instance, the issue of minimum wage. So you have subsidies gone. You have the issue of dollar there, and then salary remain the same, and you don't even, and the conversation is going on whether the 48,000 or 45,000 salary increment is okay. Labor is asking for more, looking at what the economy is saying. And then again, you find the electricity tariff where you some people are in band A, band B, band C, whatever. But the question again you need to ask ourselves is that in every economy, who are the driver of the economy? Who are they? So you look at the informal sector, you look at the small scale, and these people, are we really sure they are in that band A that have constant electricity? For instance, if let's use Abuja as an example. If you are going to give Asokoro here, somewhere here, constant electricity. So I want to know how many welders are here, you want to know how many barbers are here who needs that light to really perform their job. You want to know how many small-scale businesses are here. Then you also need to know, oh, is this going to be like an industrial area where they need this, so that alone is to subsidize production in terms of diesel purchase, in terms of fuel for generator, and a whole lot. So these are a whole lot of things you put in place, and so things have gone up. And those people you think who are not having constant electricity, but you find out that these are the people who drive the economy because of the small-scale businesses they are doing. So these kind of people don't even have more electricity, and then at the end of the day, what do? They spend more on fuel. So these are a lot of complexity. But the good thing I also like about the administration is how their ability, they've been able to balance what the citizens are saying. And I think you said that in your opening remark. We've seen them backtracking on some of the policy. For instance, you see the cyber security fee that they intend that the bank will be charging for the federal government. So backtracking and some other things, and then you give that to them. But at the same time, they are able to stand their feet on some things they feel is going to benefit Nigeria. But if you look at it as it is, you cannot actually say we have we have made much progress economically. You cannot actually say that because it looks like we are just testing the waters, and then we are expecting some of those policy to find its place. And again, you just ask yourself again why we keep talking about this is the way to go, and then on the other hand we are coming back. So, and I give you an example. If we find out that look, our economy is not that strong, but is still under this administration, the National Assembly are buying those cars, those jeeps. So you ask yourself those questions. And then again, we are talking about, look, let's begin to invest in things that are productive. And then recently, you find out that the president just approved, to the tune of about 90 billion for Hajj. So, and then you expect the Christians are also coming for their own. So this kind of money is for what? Now, this kind of money to go to Hajj, and at the same time is something that is going, in fact, I can tell you greater percentage of that money is going to be around foreign exchange, because it depends on what you are subsidizing. Are you subsidizing the flight? So if you are subsidizing the flight, is it a Nigerian carrier that is going to carry these people down there? So if it's Nigerian carrier, then you are sure you are paying in naira. But if it is not, then you are likely going to be paying those foreign carriers in dollars. So at that particular point, you are coming back to put strain on the, and then if these people are going to buy BTA, so they are going to buy foreign currency to the place. So these are conversations you now begin to find out, wait a minute, we are going this way, we are coming back this way. And these are some of the conversations we need to have.
All right, so let's go to Honorable Rahman, who is joining us virtually.
Yeah,
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us. We've been talking about how far the government has done in the past year and almost a year actually, and public accountability in general. So I would like to know, what are your thoughts on everything that's happened in the past year, from the policies, implementations, the announcements? Have they been able to follow through, and how transparent have they been as a government?
yeah, thank you very much. I would want to start by saying that I'm a member of the Oyo State House of Assembly and the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee of the Oyo State House of Assembly. Uh, Regarding the issue of accountability and transparency and measuring the efforts of this Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led government, I must start by saying that accountability is a continuous process, and it is something that must be measured from time to time. It has to be assessed from time to time based on certain factors. Issues about transparency in governance, issues about how public funds are being managed, issues about compliance and adherence to the rule of law, responsiveness to citizens' concern are key factors that will be used in measuring the accountability of how accountable this government has been. And so it will be difficult to put put a position to it at the moment. But but we have to go by some experiences that we've had, starting with the removal of fuel subsidy on the day this government was inaugurated, the reactions from Nigerians, and how that has continued to affect the way we live and the way the cost of living for Nigerians since that time up till date. I must say that since about 4 weeks or more now, it's been tough for Nigerians to access petrol, particularly in a place like Oyo State and some parts of the southwest, which I have been to lately. So I know that when people don't get access, when people don't get response, when they continue to struggle, and government does not seem to show serious concern about how people are living. Yeah, that raises question about accountability. Another big flag that we have to mention in the aspect of accountability is the suspension of Senator Lingi. Senator Lingi, being a member of the Senate Committee on Appropriation, was suspended for making some public statements, and that raises question about accountability. Any government that is happy to be accountable will not cage members and will be comfortable with members making their decision public regarding issues that relates to how we handle government funds, how budgets is being conducted, the transparency. So I really think that particular issue of suspension of Senator is a major red flag, and it raises question, and I'm sure we are going to continue to be on that issue until the whole situation is made open to everyone. Again, in the aspect of education, we've witnessed increments in school fees of some federal universities, which is actually a reflection of the market situation. But this does not have a positive effect on Nigerians because salaries hasn't been increased, the economy is not doing better, yet cost of things are going very high, and which is making increasing the poverty level in the country and is making it very tough for people to live at the moment. So in terms of accountability, yeah, I know that a lot more can be done, but like I said earlier, it's a continuous process. We continue to review it and see where it lands us in the next few months. Thank you.
Honorable, I like that you brought up the case of Senator Ningi, who expressed his opinion about the budget because he was asking for some level of transparency and accountability, and he's been suspended. We've also seen in recent times Senator Jimo Ibrahim has been suspended by his ward in his state. We see this trend where the National Assembly and the State House of Assembly is meant to be independent, but once certain members speak against some policies of the administration or the party, they get suspended. So will you truly say your State House of Assembly and the National Assembly in Nigeria is actually independent? And what can we do to ensure that the representatives of the people can actually speak to the plight of the people without them being reprimanded or suspended?
Yeah, thank you very much. Regarding the issue of independence of the houses of assemblies, yeah, at the national level, of course, there is autonomy, full autonomy, and at the state level, yeah, there is a partial autonomy. So, and yeah, I must say that we've not had our home case is could be a bit different from other states. I know we've not had much interference from the executive regarding the activities of the state house of assembly. There is a picture, there is an optics from which we see things from our own side. We see it as if the government is one and the development should be a joint effort. And the House of Assembly and the executive needs to work together to ensure that there is development. So to make this work, we've prioritized the issue of relationship and the issue of having a very good flow of information between the executive and the House of Assembly. That way, we are able to always meet up at a reasonable point. We engage as much as we can engage. There is deep consultation, and that has led to the peace that we've experienced. And yeah, the issue of independence of the houses of assembly is key, and it's unfortunate that Senator Ninki would experience that kind of situation. It is not good when somebody is being accused for speaking the truth. It is not good when someone is being accused for coming out to say what he feels is the truth. I think the Senate, we need to develop our institutions. Our institutions to be strong enough to manage this kind of situation. It's not a one-off situation, and it's not just a situation that is pertaining to just one House of Assembly. It's a general thing. So we need to developer institutions to be strong enough to handle situations like this.
Okay. Honorable, on this show, we are very particular on holding our elected officials, our leaders in general, accountable. So as a government official, how can we Nigerians now hold you and your colleagues, fellow government officials, leaders, everyone in government, accountable? How can we actively participate in holding you all accountable?
Excellent. So this is a part that is of key interest to me as a person because yeah, I believe that accountability is everything. And it's actually based on that that one is sent to the husbands to represent the people. Number one, the key thing is there is election. The election is a major way of holding people accountable. If you know that when you go back to the people after 4 years to seek their votes, they will turn you back and they will tell you that they don't know you because they've sent you to work and if you left them for 4 years, and after 4 years, they're not going back to appeal for votes again. So the election is one sure way of holding people accountable. That is number one. Number two is you can hold electoral of public officials accountable through town hall meetings. There could be regular town hall meetings, which sometimes could be initiated by the whoever is representing the people, and also the community can also initiate town hall meeting, and groups can also initiate town hall meeting. So you don't need um, the person to come and say, "I'm here." No, the community can organize, or groups can organize also, and invite general public to such town hall meeting. So let us discuss issues about our concerns. Let's discuss issues about your service to us. So there could be town hall meetings, uh, um, there could be um, interactions at different levels. There are also certain platforms also through which technology has been able to help us. Platforms like Tracker, from which you can track the performance of uh, people in government in terms of projects. There is budget that tells you you should expect at the national level, what you should expect from the budget for a particular constituency, and which will also guide you by the direction that you should be looking towards. And that will be based on that, you can use that to hold your rep accountable. So there are platforms there are platforms that is the Value for Money platform that has been recently launched by the 3.0 recently launched, and which also will help that from every community you have, you know what the government is doing, and you can raise issues. You can link up with EFCC, you can link up with ICPC, and all the state anti-corruption agencies to let them know that in my constituency, where money has been released, they have not seen the work or the contractor has not been on ground. Myself, before I got elected into the House of Assembly, I was the chairman of a community forum. And as chairman at a certain point where we've been able to hold contractors accountable, hold government accountable, and we even got a contractor that took a government project and failed to work. We got him to site. And it was based on that we built some trust in the public and we are still pushing today.
Thank you very much, Honorable, for your contribution. We will continue to keep in touch with you and hold you and the National Assembly accountable and the state accountable. Well, thank you so much for your contributions and well done for all the work you are doing. We will be coming back to the studio as we wrap this up to you, sir. You've heard the Honorable, we've also heard your comments. Going forward, what do you feel as this government gets into 1 year, concludes 1 year in office? What's your final recommendations on how to proceed with the remaining 3 years and how we as citizens can hold government accountable?
So number one is you have to be I think they have to be very coordinated in their approach to implementation of their plans. I mean, extremely coordinated. You cannot be going this way, and I mean, within the same cabinet, you cannot be going this way, and another person is going this way. And so that is number one. Number two is I also think there have to be like a goal we need to have. This is exactly what we want to achieve. And I think one of the things missing in this country is a national goal. We don't have a national goal, and that national goal talks about, irrespective of the party that is there, this is the direction we are going. We have the intention to be number one in Africa in terms of renewable energy. That is a goal. Now, maybe in the next 10, 15 years, that is the goal. Irrespective of the political party that comes in, then that goal must be pursued. So it is not like you come in and then, in fact, one of the things we have seen is that party has its own manifesto, then the official, the president, has his own, they don't call it manifesto, they call it agenda. So you can now hear, 7-point agenda, and that is extremely, it's totally different from what the party has. And then at the end of the day, the president has his own, the party has his own, the nation doesn't have anything. All the 36 states are working this way because everybody have their own, and then there is no national goal that we can say, look, in the next 5 years, we want to be the best here. For instance, you find that at some point in this country, I think that should be under Jonathan now, and a bit from Yaradua to Jonathan administration, Nigeria were launching satellites, you understand? And we were doing that. Now, probably, if that has been a goal, we will have seen a kind of improvement where we are, where we should be. But you find out another government come and say, no, that is not what I want to do. This is what I want to do. But we are not saying follow that, but let's have a national goal, and that makes us to be coordinated. Then even the states, and don't forget, there is nothing like Nigeria within the 36 states. So how are we coordinated? And because whether you like it, and with what we have now, it is not sustainable that you just begin to have handouts to the governors to do whatever they want to do, give them the money to do that. So we have to look at something different in that way. Then the other 2 points I'm going to quickly mention now is that, look, I think this present government need to have more of human face, human angle to the policy. It is not about this is what is going to work. Yeah, there are a lot of things, and I tell you, there are a lot of things on paper that work everywhere. When they come to Nigeria, they become paper tiger. They don't work. So you need to find out our own peculiarity and how to make some of those policy work. So one thing is, it is not about devaluation, it is not about subsidy. What about the human angle to this thing? And look, the kind of unemployment we have now, when you get to a peak, you won't be able to control the upsurge of the uprising that is going to come, because you have an unemployment, and then you have issues around food. In some countries, the cheapest thing you can get is food. Because the moment somebody is able to eat, he can think straight, but when people are hungry, then they can loot, they can destroy, they get angry. So, and that is one area we need to look. Then coming back to the issue of how can citizens begin to hold the government accountable. I keep saying it, we don't have problem in this country with transparency. The problem we have is accountability, and that is the major issue. And I give an example. Transparency, everybody, you can Google now, you can have access to our national budget. You can have access to the state budget. Transparent, they put it out there, is here. This is the budget. But come and account for how you spend X, Y, Z. That is where the problem is in terms of accountability. So what do we need to do? From the part of the citizen, we need to be active. And it starts by asking questions. It starts by you taking interest in the budget. It starts by you taking interest in the projects going on. By asking questions, and I think that is one thing we need to begin to do. Simple, what is going on with this? For instance, we remember, just look at this. We remember that there is a currency deal between China and Nigeria at some point. What is happening? Can we start from asking questions? And these are the issues. Now, you have a budget in the National Assembly that is not open. Let's start asking questions. So citizens need to begin to do that. And then when the legislators and all the other people come for a town hall meeting, it should not be them versus us, or their party and us, because I don't belong to their party. I am not interested. As a citizen, we need to begin to ask questions. Then from the part of the government, see, it is not, you can't do things for people who you think you just sit down in the corner of your office and say this is what they need. It's not. For instance, I have not seen citizen-driven budget. So which means, look, you just present budget and then citizens don't really make input. Nobody is telling you this is what we need in our area. And this is what exactly we need, not what you are thinking. So we need to now begin to carry the citizen along in terms of our policy and our program. So if you are able to carry them along, then they get the buy-in, you are able to get their buy-in, and at the end of the day, they support the initiative because they understand ab initio what you are trying to say. And at the same time, they are able to also monitor because they know.
Thank you very much,
you.
sir. I think this is a great place to leave it. I have nothing else to add except the fact that it's 1 year in office in about 3 weeks. We have some ministers. Some of them are doing quite well. Some of them we've forgotten their existence. The president also needs to rejig his team, and this is based on the call of the people to ensure that the right people are doing the right job. And so that way it's not about people targeting the president. It's about having a team that actually works. And people should hold the ministers accountable, hold your state and federal House of Assembly representatives and senators accountable. And most importantly, the state governors have a major role to play. Hold your state governors accountable the same way you hold the presidency accountable. That's the much we can take on the political segment this week.